Since the invention of the internet in the 1960s, the pace at which we live our lives has quickened. We no longer have to wait for snail mail or talk to a phone operator when placing a call. We have access to people and knowledge at our fingertips. The internet has changed the way we educate in many ways, from using textbooks to online ebooks, the conveniency for students and teachers, as well as help improve and prepare the next generation for the real world. In this presentation, I will explain how the COVID-19 pandemic has highlighted the importance of the internet use in education and emphasizing the ways administrators first feared, then relied on the internet, and predictions I have for a post-pandemic world. In a pre-pandemic world, the internet was useful to many people, including students and teachers. It was sometimes offered as an alternative platform to conduct class, which made education convenient to many people. It created a new dynamic of self-motivation and accountability for learning material without being in the classroom, which is often how occupations challenge their employees. It also posed for faster communication between peers and professors. Through email or online chat hubs like Canvas Messenger or Google Chat, students can ask questions at any time. Furthermore, the internet before COVID-19 was seen as a commodity, something that was not dire to education, but improved overall functioning of the class. Internet offered an opportunity to improve literacy skills in a technologically progressive world. From Psychology 532, I have learned that many new inventions were once feared before people accepted them. From ballpoint pens to novels to the radio to TV, people are not a fan of the unknown. That is the same for the internet today. It is a relatively new invention that offers a lot of information in an instant, which frightens people. We can't run away from this foreign creation, so we must lean into it, learn as we go, not discouraged if we make a mistake. I think our society just needs a helping hand to guide them towards internet literacy. Many are reluctant, some don't know where to start, so I will begin with a pre-pandemic urgent message about the usefulness of the internet and why we must take advantage of all the internet offers. To demonstrate pre-COVID-19 assumptions of the internet, I will turn to Waller's chapter in John Brown's 2017 book, Online Risk to Children, Impact, Protection, and Invention. In his chapter, Waller highlights concerns of the internet taking over education. He stresses how parents and teachers are worried that their kids won't learn if it is not information from textbooks. However, Waller counters, quote, education needs to reflect the way in which online technologies are used in the real world to ensure that teaching and learning genuinely prepares pupils for the future so that they can think critically about the way in which these technologies can be used safely and appropriately, unquote. To explain this point further, Romer and colleagues conducted an experiment exploring old media, such as books and TV, versus new media, such as the internet and video games, on various factors including students' GPAs, sports and club affiliations, and depression. Researchers found that when 14 to 24-year-olds used the internet to acquire information, it supported a healthy development, meaning there was evidence of better GPAs, higher attendance in sports and club affiliations, and lower measures of depression. These findings support that the internet is changing the way we educate by giving people with different interests an opportunity to share who they are and to feel supported and heard. Unlike in a classroom setting where class seems to follow a really strict regimen, in and out, pay attention, listen to the hour and 15-minute slideshow, take notes, and no talking. The education of the internet encourages students and is even built on students interacting with each other to create an environment that is pleasing to be a part of. The pandemic has highlighted our lack of preparation to use the internet full-time. As mentioned earlier, our world is technologically progressing fast. It waits for no one, and no other community felt this harder than the school teachers. I had the privilege of interviewing two very important and inspiring people in my life, my Aunt Lisa and my Uncle Jay. Both are from the Waukesha area, and both are administrators at schools within Milwaukee County. I asked them questions about their jobs before COVID and how things have changed since COVID. But first, I'll introduce my interviewees and then explain their answers to several of my questions. Lisa is a school social worker at Horace Mann Elementary School, which is an urban elementary school in the middle of a community that struggles with poverty. Lisa works with 4K through 5th grade students. Her primary field of work is as a homeschool community connection for her students, parents, and staff members. She keeps track of kids' attendance. She leads mental health training and supports students and staff with their struggles. She leads crisis management for behavioral issues, and she leads resource management for kids and families who are in need of clothing, food, and shelter. Jay is the principal of Merton Intermediate School, which is in the middle of a very affluent neighborhood. He works with 5th through 8th graders. Jay takes pride in how he runs his school. He's constantly in classrooms, interacting with kids. He loves hands-on activities that help students apply what they are learning. He emphasized the importance of the family participation within the schools to keep the staff, students, and parents connected. He said that he knows exactly what's being taught in each classroom. He's just very involved with his kids. When I conducted these 2 interviews, I asked Lisa and Jay the same questions about their answer, and their answers were very similar, despite being from very different school districts. First, I prompted them to share a day in their life. Lisa explained how before COVID things were stressful, but within COVID they are even worse. Many families that she works with do not have access to the internet. They don't have money to pay for the internet, nor do they have a space where they can engage online without distractions. Lisa went on to explain how she relies on the internet to make sure her kids are safe. If someone doesn't log on, she has to follow up and determine if it's a lack of Wi-Fi or if the situation is much worse in which CPS needs to get involved. As an education platform, the internet has provided many kids with the opportunity to have a routine, even in the midst of a pandemic. However, a lot of kids and parents don't know how to use the internet. They lack access to the internet. Kids may be unsupervised, prompting inappropriate internet activity, among other things. Although the list of negative effects of the internet is long, Lisa identified many ways that the internet has helped her kids in tremendous ways. For starters, kids are learning new apps and ways to work technology. They're expanding their proficiency of the internet. The internet also offers individualized programs such as Alexia, which is for reading, and Dreambox, which is for math. Furthermore, the internet also eliminates language barriers, which is a common problem in Lisa's school district. She emphasized how safety is a huge downside. Besides gaggle alerts, her school's technology lacks safety precautions or classes to teach online safety. When I asked Jay about a day in his life, he had a lot to say. Before COVID, he felt that his staff was very interactive and used the internet to their advantage. Within COVID, Jay said that learning has improved so much. His curriculum revolves around computers. Every kid has one. Google Classroom and Google Meet, and creativity. He doesn't want his students to just regurgitate information. He wants them to apply it. His teachers are so much better with technology now. They put in so much effort to make learning fun and worthwhile, and they are better communicators with parents, with students, and with him. He explained, too, how the internet offers education for those that are medically fragile. They can still learn without being at risk. He mentioned how there's a very small number of families that do not have access to the internet. When COVID first hit, AT&T and Spectrum made sure kids at his school had free internet access, but they stopped offering that once things started to slowly return back into person. There are downsides to the internet, including lack of privacy and safety threats, but Jay's school has an IT director that has created a filtering system and a secured report system to notify teachers, the IT director, and Jay if any suspicious activity is happening. From these 2 very different occupations in school district, the internet is vital to not only education, but family connections. Although I asked over 10 questions each, the one that stuck with me the most was both Lisa and Jay's opinion on whether the internet should be made available to all students everywhere. Lisa said that if it was standard in everyone's home, then sure, things would be more equitable, but that's just not feasible to do so because not everyone can afford it. Her school has the largest number of homeless kids in the district. Their instincts are to survive first, then worry about school. Basically, Lisa said that these kids have other things to worry about, food, water, shelter, than to worry about internet safety when they don't even have access to the internet in the first place. Jay replied that at this point in the world, it should be free or at a highly reduced rate, depending on your socioeconomic status. He said, quote, "We need to make sure kids have this opportunity to be educated," end quote, even referring to the internet as a necessity, quote, just like electricity, heat, and water, end quote. However, both Lisa and Jay agree that children need guidance and rules for logging onto the internet, which is why both of their schools stress to their students, staff members, and parents the importance of privacy settings and safely browsing the internet. Kira Lee and colleagues emphasize what Lisa and Jay both admittedly feared, the detrimental effects of children's use of the internet during the pandemic without guidance. Throughout the researchers' study, researchers found that kids require a schedule to keep them motivated and accountable. In a time when kids are at home while parents are at work, they may get off task and expose themselves to the side of the internet that is inappropriate, damaging, and very unsafe. Researchers suggested that with the internet as a platform for education, it can provide a routine for kids to follow. Lisa and Jay both mentioned how class at certain times was taken advantage of for attendance and a safety check, or an opportunity to make sure that students are learning and applying their new knowledge. In Unit 2, we read Professor Gernsbacher's 2015 article, which explains 5 reasons why internet-based education is legit and may even be preferred. For starters, internet-based education can lead to better mastery because there's more frequent engagement of materials and the students can distribute their learning over time. Next, internet-based education can optimize students' performance by allowing students to complete assignments at their optimal time of day. Additionally, internet-based education can deepen memory. Cheating is a big worry in the internet-based education. However, online assignments and exams access a deeper level of processing instead of a surface-level thought process. Furthermore, internet-based education can promote critical thinking by prompting students to gather information from the internet, which requires them to discern what is accurate and reliable and what is fake news. Lastly, internet-based education can enhance writing skills because students are writing for an audience of peers, teachers, and anyone else, which encourages them to write longer and create deeper thoughts in posts, replies, and papers. Following along this theme of why internet-based education, Noan and colleagues explore the benefits of internet versus traditional learning practices. Researchers found that internet-based education provides instant scores and feedback. Traditional assessments require days, sometimes weeks, for critiques and criticism. Internet-based education also builds self-motivation and elevates the meaning of learning. Because students are on their own time, it is up to them to make time for class and put in the work. They have all the resources they need with an endless amount of information, YouTube how-to videos, and resources on the internet. To further explain why online education works, I will turn to Daphne Kohler's TED Talk from Unit 3 of our course. Kohler explains in her 20-minute TED Talk why education is for everyone. She and her colleague has created an online platform called Coursera to bring everyone the best education from the best universities for free. It provides people from all over the world opportunities to learn desired material at their own pace. It is organized like a real course with real due dates and homework assignments. Students are able to break up material based on their background or interests, which allow for a personalized curriculum. Students also apply the teachings every lecture video with immediate feedback and explanations for each answer. Also, students peer grade each other's assignments, helping them learn more material while also helping their fellow classmates. Coursera also creates a global community, a worldwide support group, if you will, to study, learn from different backgrounds, and create friends thousands of miles away. By creating this free, top-of-the-line education for all, it establishes that education is a human right and that people should have this opportunity to learn and grow. Solely learning how to use, communicate, reboot, restart, charge, alter, delete, store, and run an internet program is completely different than being thrown headfirst into a world that is completely trusting on the internet to pay bills, provide education, and keep people occupied. Maybe society feared the internet because of its power and abilities to take over in-person interactions. However, within the COVID-19 pandemic, the times have changed, and the internet has proven to be a saving grace. People have to learn the ins and outs of computers and savvy iPhone gadgets and updates in a short time frame to remain eligible for the job, education, or business. The internet has made opportunities available. It has emphasized and prioritized online safety. It has helped provide education to millions of students worldwide. It has also exposed where we were not well prepared. Without the internet, 2020 would have come and go with nothing to show for it but loss and tragedy. However, it offered a platform for students to use, grow, and learn from, as well as increase accountability of teachers and staff members alike. The internet is constantly changing and shaping the way we educate. Although I do not think the internet will take over in-person classes or jobs, like many people fear, I do believe that we, kids, students, teachers, parents, grandparents, will be better prepared and educated for the future. I also predict that the internet will continue to shape the resources and materials we use to educate our students. I believe that internet safety and internet usage classes will become available to all people as well. Although our world is constantly improving technologically, we also have to take initiative of our resources and change the world as we know it. We must feel the fear and do it anyway.